Chris here, and welcome to my channel. So today's video is a little bit different. One of my 2024 goals was to start a book club, and I am finally ready to do that. So I spent a lot of time thinking about what kind of book club I would want, because I read a very eclectic group of books. So did I want the genre to change every month? Did I want it to be just middle grade or just cozy mystery? And the more I thought about it, the more I decided that I wanted it to be a queer book club. I wanted to read books that had queer representation in them. One of the things I have been doing on my channel is trying to bring attention to books that I've heard about being challenged or banned. Anytime I hear about something like that, I tend to want to seek the book out more. And it does not matter whether this book was written for adults or if it's a children's picture book. If I've heard that it's been in some way challenged, and especially if the whole reason it's being challenged is because, say, one of the characters has two dads, which I have absolutely come across, I am more likely to want to read it and to use my channel and my platform to bring eyeballs and attention to it. So I was like, well, I could use my book club to do that. And so here we are. So in June, we're going to be doing our first book club pick. And there is a link to my Discord below. In my Discord, there is a section that is specifically dedicated to this book club, and it is where you will find the chat we're going to have as we all read this book in June. But there's also a place where you can leave book recommendations or suggestions. So if you want to get involved and give me ideas for future options for the book club, or just to recommend some queer books that you've really loved, check out my Discord below. There are already some recs in there. So this video, as you can tell by the title, is going to be deciding what our June book is going to be. I've picked 4 options via books I've heard about in my travels or from suggestions in the Discord. And I'm going to give you till midnight Eastern Standard Time on the 16th to vote for them. Right after this video goes live, there'll be a post in my community tab on YouTube where you can vote for which book you would like us to read in June. I'm hoping this gives you enough time to kind of research them and decide which one is drawing you in. And on top of that, if there are several of them that are intriguing to you, it gives you the ability to decide, like, this one maybe is easier for me to get my hands on, so I'm going to vote for that one. Hopefully that makes sense. So let's get into our 4 options. Our first option is We Could Be So Good by Cat Sebastian. This is the first book in the Mid-Century New York City series, and it is an adult historical fiction romance. Casey McQuiston meets the 7 husbands of Evelyn Hugo in this mid-century rom-dram about a scrappy reporter and a newspaper mogul's son, perfect for Newsies shippers. Nick Russo has worked his way from a rough Brooklyn neighborhood to a reporting job at one of the city's biggest newspapers. But the late 1950s are a hostile time for gay men, and Nick knows that he can't let anyone into his life. He just never counted on meeting someone as impossible to say no to as Andy. Andy Fleming's newspaper tycoon father wants him to take over the family business. Andy, though, has no intention of running the paper. He's barely able to run his life. He's never paid a bill on time, routinely gets lost on the way to work, and would rather gouge out his own eyes than deal with office politics. Andy agrees to work for a year in the newsroom, knowing he'll make an ass of himself and hate every second of it. Except Nick Russo keeps rescuing Andy, showing him the ropes, tracking down his keys, freeing his tie when it gets stuck in the ancient filing cabinets. Their unlikely friendship soon sharpens into feelings they can't deny. But what feels possible in secret, this fragile, tender thing between them, seems doomed in the light of day. Now, Nick and Andy have to decide if, for the first time, they're willing to fight. So again, option number 1 is We Could Be So Good by Cat Sebastian. Our second option is a middle grade fantasy that features autism rep, and that is Vivy, Conway, and the Sort of Legend by Lizzie Huxley Jones. Vivy Conway has grown up listening to stories about magic, monsters, and myth. She always wanted to be in one, but now that she's drawn a sword from a lake, yes, that sword, she's not so sure she wants to be a hero. With a group of new friends and a ghostly dog named Gellert, who can talk, Vivy is thrown into a legendary adventure that will take her from Wales to London to the mysterious Unlands. It's not easy coming to terms with a magical destiny, and sometimes it's even harder to find true friendship. So again, option number 2, Vivy Conway in The Sword of Legend, a middle grade fantasy with autism rep. Our third option is a nonfiction. Gender Euphoria, stories of joy from trans, non-binary, and intersex writers. Gender Euphoria, a powerful feeling of happiness experienced as a result of moving away from one's birth-assigned gender. So often, the stories shaped by trans people about their transition center on gender dysphoria, a feeling of deep discomfort with their birth-assigned gender, and a powerful catalyst for coming out or transitioning. But for many non-cisgender people, it's gender euphoria which pushes forward their transition. The joy the first time a parent calls them by their new chosen name, the first time they have the confidence to cut their hair short, the first time they truly embrace themselves. In this groundbreaking anthology, 19 trans, non-binary, agender, gender fluid, and intersex writers share their experience of gender euphoria. An agender dominatrix being called daddy, an Arab trans man getting his first tattoos, a trans woman embracing her inner fighter. What they have in common are their feelings of elation, pride, confidence, freedom, and ecstasy as a direct result of coming out as non-cisgender, and how coming to terms with their gender has brought unimaginable joy into their lives. Option number 3, Gender Euphoria, a nonfiction. And then option number 4 is an adult sci-fi fantasy that was recommended in my Discord by Mad Cat. And it's The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. This is the first book in the Wayfarers series. Follow a motley crew on an exciting journey through space, and one adventurous young explorer who discovers the meaning of family in the far reaches of the universe in this lighthearted debut space opera from a rising sci-fi star. Rosemary Harper doesn't expect much when she joins the crew of the aging Wayfarer. While the patched-up ship has seen better days, it offers her a bed, a chance to explore the far-off corners of the galaxy, and most importantly, some distance from her past. An introspective young woman who learned early to keep to herself. She's never met anyone remotely like the ship's diverse crew, including Sussex, the exotic reptilian pilot, chatty engineers Kizzy and Jenks, who keep the ship running, and Ashby, their noble captain. Life aboard the Wayfarer is chaotic and crazy, exactly what Rosemary wants. It's also about to get extremely dangerous when the crew is offered the job of a lifetime. Tunneling wormholes through space to a distant planet is definitely lucrative and will keep them comfortable for years. But risking her life wasn't part of the plan. In the far reaches of deep space, the tiny Wayfarer crew will confront a host of unexpected mishaps and thrilling adventures that force them to depend on each other. To survive, Rosemary's got to learn how to rely on this assortment of oddballs, an experience that teaches her about love and trust, and that having a family isn't necessarily the worst thing in the universe. So, option number 4, The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers, which is an adult sci-fi fantasy. So as you can see, we have 4 very different options. I wanted to give us a diverse mix of books. I wanted to bring attention to a diverse mix of books because even if they don't get picked for our June book club pick, by highlighting them here, it means I am bringing them to your attention, and that is getting people's eyeballs on these books and hopefully bringing awareness to more books in the queer community. So those are your 4 options. Remember, I will be posting a poll on my community tab on YouTube for you all to vote in to choose which book we're going to read in June. This poll will close at midnight Eastern Standard Time on May 16th. So that on the 17th, I can post a video here on my channel letting you know what book we'll be reading in June. So hopefully you'll have enough time to get a hold of a copy, whether that be by purchasing it or getting it through a library or Everand or your Libby app or however you want to go about getting a copy of the book. The link for my Discord is in the description below. That is where we will be chatting about the read as we go along. And again, in my Discord, there's a spot where you can give recommendations for books we could read in the future, or just books you really enjoyed that you want to bring to the attention of people who like to read queer books. I believe I've covered all of the information. If you have any questions, let me know in the description below or hit me up in my Discord. All of my social media is linked in the description below if you'd like to come chat with me. If you've made it this far in the video, leave me rainbow emojis. Like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!